going to do, Robbie, is you're going to match up 2 of your strips. So he has cut out the red dot, the red kind of stripe, squiggly line, whatever you want to call it, and the blue. On this, I would always recommend putting that blue in the middle, just because that's going to help you see the difference in your reds. So he's going to match these up really nicely. He's going to take a couple of pins and pin them together, just so they stay put when he's sewing them. You got it. And then he's going to sew a nice accurate 1/4 inch right down the edge of that. So go ahead and grab some pins and pin those together. I love how you do that. You want a tip?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a tip on this.
Okay.
Okay. So when he went to pin it together, he just grabbed it and put the pin through. It works.
Yeah.
It does work. But what can happen when you do that, it can shift your fabric a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So what you want to do is you're doing it on a nice flat surface.
Yep.
You're taking your pin and you're just going to take your pin, hold it, put it down, and pull it up. See how my fabric didn't move at all?
It looked a lot better.
Well, it's just going to make it easier for you. Your fabric isn't going to shift around. Like I said, pinching it works.
Yeah.
But that can then move your fabric.
Okay.
So what we want to do is just make sure those are even. That's a wiggly pin. Put it in there and push it. Now you're going to just go and he's going to just sew right down that edge. Go for it.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to have Robbie lock his stitches. So we've talked about this in the other 2 Thready boxes. You're going to lock those stitches at the beginning. So he's going to start. He's going to push that little button. It just locks it right there. Perfect. So that keeps your pieces from coming apart when you go to cut them or sew them. Keeps them from all coming apart. Okay, he's ready to go. I should have had you do that, Robbie. I should have had you practice a little bit. But you're doing great. You got it. So now you're going to lock that stitch right there. Yep, just put it in. Okay, that one. So you can use your reverse here also to lock it. You're going to have to put your foot on when you do it. Either one. There you go. There, perfect. See how it goes back just a few stitches? And then just go forward again and right off the edge. There you go. Okay, so he's going to lift the foot up. Cut those threads off the side on the thread cutter and pull it right out. There, you've got one done. Awesome. Okay, so I always like to press before I put my next strip on. It just makes everything a little bit easier. So if you were using a dark and a light fabric, you always want to press towards the dark. So this is your blue. So if you press your fabric this way, your seam underneath is not going to be, that extra fabric's not going to be seen. Okay, it's not going to, especially if you were using, say you were using white. Yeah. You definitely don't want to see. If you'd pressed it this way, you'd see that through the white. Okay, guys? So you're going to press. So I'm going to have him take it. Let's make sure the iron's on over here. Yep, it's on. I can feel it. And so what you're going to do, I always like to set my seam first. So you just press it just like this. I'm going to show you on this one, then I'm going to let you do the next one.
Alrighty.
And then you just take this guy right here and you fold it right over. And that presses it right towards the dark. Now we are pressing. See how we're going up and down? If you were ironing, you'd be rubbing it. We don't want you to do that because that stretches your fabric. Okay, so we want you to just go up and down to press that seam first. Okay? You've got it. Now you're going to put your next red one on. Let's do it the same way. We'll go right back over here. Put that one right sides together. Let's put it on the blue.
Oh, yes.
That way we'll have the blue in the middle. I think you picked out very patriotic colors on this one.
Or I should line it up with this.
Yes, you're going to line it right up even there. Perfect. And then you're going to pin it in place just like you did the first one. Got it. Perfect.
There we go.
See how much more even that is going to be now?
That is a whole lot.
Yeah. Awesome. Now he's going to sew that one, just like he did the first one. Go ahead and take that to the machine. Sew right down that line. Okay, turn it the other way. There you go. That way you're going to use your 1/4 inch guide.
You're going to
Gotta push your foot. There you go. Yeah. Good job. He remembered to lock that stitch. Okay, now you're going to take that over to the iron. Remember how we pressed that?
Yes.
And we want to turn it over because you're going to, once again, want to press towards the dark. There you go. Yep, you're doing exactly right. You're going to open it up and and that's right. You're going to press it towards, I'm going to show you a little tip on that. Okay. So we've pressed it like this and we're going to press it to the dark. So if you're pressing to the dark, you're going to go this way. Okay. You can do it both from the front or the back. Sometimes I like doing it from the front.
Yeah.
To me, it just lays nicer and I can feel. So I can feel with my fingers under here that I've gotten the whole thing. Okay. Go ahead and finish that pressing it. Okay, you got that all done?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one set. Awesome. So, because we need 4 pieces, we're not going to get 4 out of this strip. So you're going to have to make another set. Okay, Robbie. We have 2 sets done, identical sets.
Yep.
Now what we need to do is cut our 4.5-inch pieces. These strips should be measuring a certain size, so we get it all together. And then you're going to cut, okay, so we want to cut these units 6.5. Let's see. They should measure 6.5. We want to cut 6.5-inch blocks out.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look on here, you've got 6.5-inch units. You're going to trim off your edge, and then you're going to cut it 6.5 here too.
Right on.
Okay, so I'm going to have you go ahead and do that. At home, you're going to use a marker and scissors to do this part. Perfect. So we got 3 out of 1. And we'll need to do 1 more out of your other set. So set those aside. Good job. And he's remembering. We reminded you in here to make sure you cut that salvage off the end. And he's doing that. Good job. And we only need to get 1 out of this strip. You know what I did? I saved those extra pieces and I made a throw pillow. So you guys don't throw all this extra away. It's a really fun. You can take all those strips, put them together, and make yourself another project out of those. Awesome. So take this unit that you have extra here, set it to the side because you can use it for something else. And now you're going to take your 4 pieces that you've sewn.
Yes.
4 pieces that you've cut, and you're going to lay them into a rail fence. So we have a picture right here of what it's going to look like. So that's going to be your block when you sew it together. So what I recommend is you're going to take and you're going to sew these 2 together here. And then you're going to sew these 2 together. Now, if we look here, these aren't exactly even. So what that means is we might have been just off a little bit. We can fix that. That's not a big deal. Okay? So what you want to do is just make sure all of them are squared up the same. So I'm going to have you sew those 2 together, and I'm going to have you sew those 2 together. Go ahead and do that. Good job pinning. Yeah, that's a good idea to pin these together before you sew them.
Alrighty. Still 1/4 inch.
Yep, you're going to use your 1/4 inch. And this area right here is very important to lock because you don't want that intersection coming undone. So he's going to stop and push that seam down. If it doesn't want to go down, lift your foot up. There you go. And push it down. Make sure it lays nice and flat. There you go. And we're going to sew this one together. Go ahead and pin these sides so you remember. That's the other thing. If you pin them, you'll remember which sides you're doing. Okay?
Alrighty.
Okay. So we've got those 2 done. And they're going to lay opposite, just like we want them to. So I'm going to take them over and I'm going to show you how we're going to press this. And then we're going to trim those up. So when we press them, we want them to go the opposite ways. So we want this one to go one way and this one to go the other.
Okay.
That way it nestles much nicer when we're putting this together. So when I go to put those together, that goes one way, that goes the other. So let's take it back over here. See how those butt right up against each other nicely there? Perfect. Grab a pin here. Pin all the way across it, just so everybody lays nicely together. Okay, and then you're just going to sew right down there.
Sweet.
When you get to that intersection, just make sure those are staying right together there. Your first block.
My first block.
How about that?
There we go.
Okay, so he has finished his first block. Look at this. Yay! We're going to press it. Okay, so we talked a little bit about our seams didn't match up exactly. Okay, that could be because your 1/4 inch wasn't exact on your thing. It could have been your cutting and all that. So this is a place where I always tell people when you're first quilting, when you're very first starting off, it's good to make a practice block just to see if this is going to happen. Okay, this isn't the worst thing. We're not going to get rid of this block. Obviously, you did a great job on putting this together. So what we might end up doing is at the end, when we have finished all of our blocks, we'll trim them up.
Sweet.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Robbie, you finished your first block. What do you think?
I'm loving it.
Are you? That was fun, huh?
Ready for the next one.
Yeah. So he's going to make 3 blocks just like this. Okay. So you're going to keep going. You're going to use all those extra pieces that you're going to make 3 blocks just like this. Okay.
Sweet.
If you have extra pieces, so he's going to do some more. And when he comes up with the extra pieces, you can use them for something else, but don't get rid of it because you're going to be making more of these. Okay, so that's that one. After this, we're going to move on to another block.
Sweet.
Good job. Okay, thanks, folks.